Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I had just got off or whatever, and I figured I'd make a video before going to bed, and then I'll upload it later. Today is payday, so it's going to be an exciting day. But anyways, I was at work last night on downtime listening to John, the Book of John, and listening to some things. And when I went back and started listening to it, it had helped me realize some things, especially once edifying, because I try not to read this whole book anymore. I've said this in many videos. I just go to spots where I need to see something or edify for something or teach somebody something, and then I keep it moving because I am my example. I don't need testimonies from books anymore. And if I do get testimonies from books, from like life experiences, that's all I'm picking up is their life experience. If they telling me they seen dragons and fire flying from, I'm thinking either the spirit or their imagination, and the imagination is essentially the spirit. It's the same thing, basically. So, what I wanted to essentially teach you guys today is there's a part in John, you guys can go back and listen or read for yourself, and it all ties together. In the beginning, if you pay attention to John, he's saying, one of the disciples came up and said, "My Lord, he's baptizing on the other side of the river." If they're on the other side of the river, I'm telling you guys, Bible metaphors, that means they're either in the future or that means somebody has died. So if you go back to Moses, Moses ran from the Pharaoh. Moses ran across a river to his forefather's house. That means Moses died. It was after Moses. It's an allegory or a poem. And so back to the point of John, you'll see that John says, people of the earth receive earthly things, but things from the heavens come above all things. Now, essentially, you can make yourself a narcissist if you're not careful with that. But what I'm going to tell you is, right there, fleshly things come from the flesh, but things from the heart come from who I am in the heart, God in the heart, who I am in the heart. And so when I read that, then I got to the part where it's talking about, Lord, Lord, he's on the other side of the river. That's talking about me now. I'm sorry. I'm not holding back anymore. It is talking about me. John's dead now. Jehoiann's dead. He was crucified. He was a lamb. I heard somebody bring this up recently. He's not the Messiah. He said he wasn't the Messiah in that book. I don't know what he said in real life, but based on all these civilizations looking for Yeho and Prester John and got Jehovah in their books, he said something really important, or did something really important. Because the only other people that I remember like that are kings and great leaders. So what essentially I'm telling you all is when you get to the part where he says, my Lord, he's over on the other side of the river baptizing others. And then John said, only God can give anything in the heart. And that ties back to the other scripture that I was just talking about, earthly things. So if I say earthly things come from the earth, God, I'm not going to keep using God. Who I'm in the heart is telling myself, don't do this and that. But friends, family, scientists, and everybody else come up and say, blah, 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 earthly studies, blah, blah, blah. If those things are helpful and I see that and they're edifying me, okay, I'm listening, but I'm not worshiping y'all. I'm learning, but I'm not making a God of you. You're an angel to me, but you are God in your own world, if that makes sense. That's why it constantly says the angel of God, angel of God, angel of the Lord. Because if somebody does something godly in front of you, no matter how much you love it, they can only ever be an angel. God rests with them and they are a God of their world. But then in retrospect, you're God of your world. So read John over and over. It will talk about how people of the flesh follow the flesh. People of the Pharisees follow after all these laws and blah, 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 blah. But the Pope died just like all these other wicked men or holy men. And they all went to the same place, the ground. After that, you all know not where they went, and everything that is conjured saying where they went is a lie. Because even if you want to create heavens and hells in our last moments, we have no idea what that man was going through. But at the same time, I just researched this Pope. I spent the last 3 days learning about his life. He gave peace and rest to the LGBTQ. He said to feed the poor and the hungry. He was totally opposite than that Benedict motherfucker who was crazy even for a pope. And he condemned MAGA Israel and what was happening in Ukraine. Okay, while I don't believe in bombing children and buildings, I'm not finna go after Russia for what they're doing in Ukraine. Because I've watched all those documentaries, even from the BBC before Russia started this, and they're pure fucking Nazis. So, you don't want to believe that? I don't care. The Lord is telling you what to believe in your heart. So go follow after him. Everybody that keeps bringing up the beast, everything in that revelation, you guys calling Daniel a prophet. You're calling him a major whatever. Okay? From what we can gather, this creation story is very old. I wouldn't doubt if it was any Egyptian. These people are stealing. They know about Israel because of Isirar, because of Egypt, because of Africa. If they lie and say they don't, they're blaspheming their own God because they're liars. And then they say, God, blah, 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 it's the truth. So lie if you want to. How do you know about Israel? Then what they did was, they said a Yiddish man translated Hebrew. No, the fuck he didn't. The man that translated hieroglyphics, Hebrew, Aramaic, go read William Tyndale's words in his prophecies. Not the information he did. This man wrote on paper in prophecy. And the shit came true. I will raise a boy that knows the plow greater than the Pope. Then all these New Agers in America, they're called Joseph Smithians, I think. Talking about that was Joseph Smith, the Mormons. Follow what you will in the wilderness for some more. You all still have 1,000 years if you not like to listen to what I'm telling you. Judaism completely took the calendar out the equation. That calendar is off by 300-400 years. In the 4000 BC, a tomb was introduced to mankind and humanity. Go read the same Egyptian steels they got Israel from. Then later there was Muats. The same name letter switched. Turned into a woman eagle. The 10 Commandments come from the 42 laws of Muat. I know all of this because I researched and I searched for the truth. I listened to John's words in the sense of learning and being baptized. But in terms of my own journey, who I am, the Lord God in the hearts guides me. So you see that and think, you got to live a certain way. You're following earthly laws again. You know the difference between right and wrong. You know what causes harm. You know what causes you harm, so you wouldn't want to cause it to others. Everything else is cosplay. It's about all the law and those commandments, because those commandments aren't magical. They keep people from harming each other. Murder is harm. Stealing causes harm. Owning slaves and coveting after your neighbor causes harm. There are laws to keep from causing harm. Cooking meat and milk doesn't cause harm. Eating pork doesn't cause harm. Violent men with violent hearts do. So, you don't have to follow anything I'm telling you. I'm simply just trying to give you all fire. There was a man that gave water, wine, and now I am giving fire. Follow if you will. I am telling you that you are the Most High. And so to say it correctly, I am the Most High. Your consciousness, or what you see right now of me, is an angel of the Lord. The Lord is giving me commands and I do them. Whether you want to be a scientist and say the brain is sending signals throughout the neurological network and sending signals across the synaptic gaps because the brain is full of ionic fluid, which causes and has all types of salts and stuff, which causes charges to leap across to other charges and whatnot. I'm not a fucking psycho religious moron. I know what I'm talking about. I'm simply giving you all metaphors in real time to burn Satan off of your fleshes. So you are no longer houses of bondage. Africa is not Egypt. And there's a nation that's pissing me off. So I'm going to say something. France has a space of time. Right behind them, the United States, America, where I live. If you two nations don't cut it the fuck out with Africa and all the bullshit, Israel, you're a part of the United States. I'm not, what the fuck? You have nothing without the USA. If I cut you off, you would get destroyed. You're not cut off because you're my holy people. You're not cut off because women and children exist there. And I don't think they should be punished for what you're doing, just like in Palestine it should be. But France, Israel, and the United States has a space of time before they receive destruction so bad, those who cannot understand, speak, or see will know. So, back to the original point. Following after earthly things can lead you down earthly rabbit holes and pits. But following the Most High in the heart, who knows all things and knows how not to cause harm and knows all this bullshit religious fanatical magic isn't real and is simply cosplay. We'd like for everybody to tell the fucking truth. I know what happened to Yehohanan, who I liken to Elijah, who they will say I am John the Baptist resurrected because we have the same fucking name. That's crazy how that lived out, right? But he wasn't prophesying. William Tyndale wrote the Bible. The Bible, in the way it is in its form, the Vatican had scrolls and scrolls and scrolls of all the holy men. They raided all these different nations. They took all their shit. The book itself says they took from the Holy Temple and put their shit in. If you want to play with me, play if you will. Greece, Vatican, the Middle Age, they're grave robbers. You can find dead men and treasures and riches in the European museums. That's grave robbing. The Queen was buried with a $400 million diamond from Africa. William Tyndale wrote this Bible that you all are reading. He was a Christ, but you all killed him. Martin Luther King, through the Spirit, was a Christ, but you all killed him. I am telling you, I am pouring my vial out and bringing my vial of fire out the tabernacle to tell you all, we all are. And if America, France, and Israel don't stop fucking playing with me, look at this messenger and think I am a fucking joke, if you will. Think I don't exist, if you will. Because those who don't exist will not get in the way of who I am and those who do. A space and time. Search your feelings, search your hearts, and ask your Lord if he wants 93,000 people killed over religion. Ask your Lord, was slavery okay? Ask your Lord if all this shit in the Old Testament, it's poetry. The Hyksos and the Brahmins did take over Africa, and they plagued the pharaohs because they created the pharaohs. There was no pharaohs before the 1900s BC. Google it. There were Semitic people. The red and the not red man I loved, because look what y'all do to the Africans who built everything. But the red man, Semitic man, look what's coming upon their heads right now. Every generation, over and over, until they fucking say sorry and tell people they're not holy and all people are my people. The shit on the earth is about to be burned off miserably, and I'm done playing. Y'all should read John and understand what he's talking about. I turned 6 time periods into wine. Drink, if you will. You all crucified my soul in Christianity, but I rose to the Father, and there will be no wood. Play with this flesh messenger, if you will, and I will show you the nature of your will. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. 3 cosplaying, eventful things that people like to do. But you're not my holy people. You're murderers. My bad, I got a little off topic. The man who wrote this book, William Tyndale, wrote it in poetry. When he brought up all these holy men and powerful men, he was taking their prophecies or whatever they were at the time and then adding it all together to a book. The Holy Spirit led him to do this, right? So then, when you look at Daniel and the 4 rivers, 4 beasts came out the rivers. Those 4 rivers are the 4 beginning garden. It are the 4 rivers that come out the garden. It's not a prophecy of something to come. You guys are mixing a lot of symbols. Okay, out of those 4 rivers that was created, you had Exodus and Moses, Joshua and the Judges, Elijah and the prophets, and John the Baptist and the apostles. What was created out of all those was beastly religions and psychopathy. William Tyndale, technically the John on Patmos, was the one that saw all this when he studied and learned history, and he put it in a book and sealed it up. There was no prophesying of things to come. Protestants were already existing with the 2 horns, Catholics and Protestants, by the time William Tyndale wrote this book. The Vatican didn't have a whole holy Bible. Watch 33 to present church history, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Nobody had a whole book. William Tyndale wrote this book, and he was killed because of it. So, Daniel and the prophecies of the 12 and this and that. William Tyndale had all the dates marked out, and he knew all of history. William Tyndale basically was like me, except instead of a cell phone, he had a whole bunch of libraries and different places he could learn from. Greece had already did a bunch of the work, and so did Egypt. They had scrolls and libraries, but Egypt was already decimated. So all he had to do was go into Rome and Greece. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. This is all written history, man. Believe me if you will or don't. I don't care. This is a gem, and anybody who wants to wake up and know the truth about our real ancestors, fuck around and learn. Yehohanan and William Tyndale are great men. If anything, I might have made a mistake about Paul, and I could say that Peter was Josephus and William Tyndale was Paul. And even if you look, I called him Cephas. That's Josephus. People are taking stuff and playing with words and stuff, just like how they got that man bone in a museum. Yehohanan. They got the crucified man, the lamb. They know his genetics and everything. You don't have to play with, is Jesus white anymore? And I wouldn't put it past them to put some other bone in there and create some genetic, you know what I'm saying? But they know what they do. They call him Yehohanan ben Zakkai. A bunch of snakes, or they're lost themselves. What I'm telling you is you become lost when you listen to other people instead of listening to who I am in heart. Because I found all this by doing real research. I'm talking about Nephilim and lightning strikes and arcs and you're all taking symbols and going mad with them. So wake up. The 4 beasts out of them rivers are the beasts that the holy men created. When William Tyndale was writing this book, he already knew all this. Yehohanan, I don't even think wrote a book. They said there was witnesses that testified with him and these sages, and he might have been what was it called, a Sadducee or something like that. But he had broke away and he wasn't like them. Listen to written history, what civilizations actually wrote down from martyred men and crucified men. They have the real stuff, but they play these scriptures and lost scrolls and whatever. They got the truth that's in the museums.